Hi, I'm Rebecca Celeste. Thank you for joining me in today's absolute breakdown of Sun Salutation B. We will be building off of our Sun Salutation A, so if you're not already familiar, I'd like to encourage you to go back and review the absolute breakdown for Sun Salutation A, become a bit more familiar, and then come on back to join me for Sun Salutation B. Throughout this practice, I will be stepping back in a plank, going through full chaturanga, and coming up into up dog. If you would like to take any variations, including jumping back into chaturanga, taking an 8-point salute, or coming into cobra rather than up dog, please feel free to do so. All of these variations are available for you in the absolute breakdown of Sun Salutation A. I want to remind you, you'll want to breathe in and out through the nose during practice, exhaling through the mouth only when you build up an excess amount of body heat. If that's the case, you'll want to take a full, purposeful exhalation, and that will allow you to return to a controlled breathing in and out through the nose. I'm going to give you a lot of details today. Don't worry if you don't pick it up right away. You're always welcome to come back and review the video. If you haven't done so already, I'd like to invite you to join me at the front of your mat. Our Sun Salutation B begins just like our Sun Salutation A in mountain pose. So let's start by looking at our feet. We want to make sure that they are hip distance apart or 2 fist widths apart. So you can take your fists together and actually go ahead and put them between your feet. That way you know that your alignment is your feet directly underneath your hips. And we're going to activate our arches. So we're going to lift the toes, and that will activate the arches, and we can take a little bit of a rock back and forth until you find the sweet spot where all 4 corners of both feet are active and supporting the body weight. Now you can let the toes relax down to the floor without losing the active arches. And we're going to lift the kneecaps, lift the thighs, roll the pelvis under, bring the belly button to the spine. Inhale, puff up the chest. Exhale, roll the shoulders and shoulder blades down the spine. And we're going to pretend someone's pulling a string at the top of our head. And that's allowing air between every single vertebrae in the spine, getting really, really long in our stance. And make the arms active, activate the hands and even the fingertips. This is our very active mountain pose. Bring the hands together to Namaste. And we're going to inhale, and simultaneously we're going to think bending at the knees, and we're going to raise our hands up above the head. So inhale, sink back, bend the knees. We're going to come into our chair pose, just like we're sitting on an imaginary chair. We do want to be careful that our hips are pointing back towards the back wall, but we have our pelvis still tucked under, our belly button is still to the spine, our chest is still puffed up, and the shoulder blades are still running down the spine. What helps to keep that alignment is to bring our pinkies towards each other, like you're saying hi. And that really helps keep the upper body in good alignment. And I want to sink a little further with the legs. Our legs are doing a lot of work here. Inhale, exhale, sink, and come forward into a forward bend. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward bend. We're going to step back with the right leg into a lunge. Step back with the left foot into a plank position. In our plank, we want to make sure that we're keeping good alignment still. Shoulder blades are still running down the spine. Belly button is tilted to the spine. Keeping that core very active and very tight. We don't want the hips up. We don't want them sinking down. We want one straight line with the body. We're going to go through our chaturanga, bending the elbows directly back towards the rib cage and coming down just 2 inches off the ground. So chaturanga. Come on in to up dog, where our chest is more forward of the shoulders, and only the tops of our feet are on the ground. The rest of our body is lifted up. And so come on over into your down dog. So you're going to roll over the tops of your feet using the lower abdominals to pull yourself up. And in our down dog, let's take a quick moment. Make sure our shoulders aren't jamming into the arms. So to help us get out of that, we can bend the knees, push our hips far, far back, and then push down with our heels. And this helps us pull the weight out of the shoulders and put the weight more into the feet. And we're going to look forward. Inhale, we're going to bring our knee towards the nose, curving really, really strong with the spine, and step on through into a lunge position. Pivot the back foot at a 45-degree angle. So before we come up to our warrior one, let's take a look at how our feet and legs are in alignment. So we want our right knee to be directly over our right ankle. You also want the knee to be pointing towards the middle toes. You always want to be able to see the big toe from the inside of the leg, of the bent leg. And then we want to push into the outer edge of our left foot. And that will really help us to straighten the back leg and to split the weight between the front and the back leg. So with our feet and legs in alignment, inhale, raise both hands up above the head. Exhale, sink. Now this is our warrior one. We want a 90-degree bend in the front leg. We want our left hip to push forward, our right hip to come back, and that will help square our hips off towards the front of the mat. We're still keeping the core to the spine, still keeping the air in the lungs, shoulder blades running down the spine, and hands up above. Pinkies again come towards each other. Inhale, exhale, sink. This is your warrior one. And pivot the back foot to the ball of the foot. Bring hands to either side of the front foot. Step back into plank. Go through our flow. So plank, chaturanga, up dog, rolling on into down dog. Look through to the front of the mat. Step your left foot forward this time. Pivot the back foot down to a 45-degree angle. And again, let's check out the alignment in our feet and legs. The left knee is directly above the left ankle, making sure the knee is pointed towards the middle toes. We're putting the weight into the outer edge of our right foot, really strengthening the back leg. So with our legs and feet really strong, come on up into your warrior one. Again, this time we're going to bring the right hip forward, the left hip back, and that will allow us to square our hips off towards the front of the mat. We want to make sure that when we're doing this, that knee has to come in and that you're still able to see your big toe. So you might actually just take your hand, roll that knee on out. Bring the hands up above the head. Inhale, exhale, sink into your warrior one. I really want you to try to get your thigh parallel to the ground. This is what we're working towards. You might be a little higher at first, but the goal is to really be able to sink into your warrior one. Inhale, exhale, and pivot the back foot to the ball of the foot. Bring the hands to either side of the front foot. Step back into plank. Go through the flow, plank, chaturanga, up dog, roll on over into down dog. And look forward here, step forward with the right foot, step forward with the left foot. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward bend. And we're going to come back into the chair pose. So we're going to sink, bending at the knees, sink the hips back, and raise the hands up all at once. So come into your chair pose. Inhale, exhale, sink. Again, let's make sure that the hips aren't really far back, but the pelvis is tucked under, the belly button is to the spine. We have the air puffed up with, the lungs puffed up with air. Shoulder blades running down the spine. Hands up above the head, pinkies towards each other. Inhale, exhale, sink with the legs. And inhale, push the heels into the ground, straighten the legs. Take maybe a little bit of a back bend. Bring the hands to namaste. And come on back into your mountain pose. Let's go through that one more time. From mountain pose, hands to namaste. Inhale, sink back into chair pose. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward bend. Step back with the right foot into plank or into lunge. Step back with the left foot into plank. Go through the flow. Plank, chaturanga, up dog. Coming into down dog. Look forward, step forward with your right foot. Pivot the back foot to a 45-degree angle. Come on up into your warrior one. Make sure that knee has to come in. You might even want to roll it on out. Try to square out the hips. Keep the shoulder blades running down the spine. Inhale, exhale, sink. And pivot the back foot. Bring the hand to either side of the front foot. Step back into plank. Go through your flow. We're in plank. Come down to chaturanga. up dog, roll on over to down dog, look forward, step forward with your left foot into a lunge, pivot the back foot into a 45-degree angle, come on up into your warrior one, make sure your hips are squared off, make sure your knee hasn't rolled in towards the center of the body, shoulder blades running down the spine, inhale, exhale, sink with the legs, pivot the back foot to the ball of the foot, bring the hands to either side of the front foot, step back in a plank, go through your flow from plank to chaturanga, rolling into up dog, roll over to down dog, take 2 breaths here, look forward, step forward with your right foot, step forward with your left foot, inhale, flat back, exhale, forward bend, sink in the chair, raise my hand up above the head, inhale, exhale, sink a little further, keeping a good alignment with the pelvis, the belly button, and the chest, shoulder blades running down the spine, inhale, push into the heels, straighten the legs, take a tiny bit of a back bend, hands to namaste, and release the mountain pose. Thank you for joining me. This was Absolute Breakdown of Sun Salutation B. Namaste.